All I wanted to do was spice up the superhero stroke effect. Yep, there it is on the logo for my other channel. And it looks all well and good, but I didn't want it to just pop on the screen and then pop off the screen. I wanted it to go from invisible to visible, have a blur that gets sharp, and still maintain that superhero stroke effect. So, welcome back to Creator Reality. Today, my friend, we're diving back into the Fusion page, and I'm gonna show you some workarounds that I found to do this stuff that it's doing right now. How cool is that, right? Let's dive into DaVinci Resolve and I'll show you what we're working with. So here we are in my timeline. I have dragged in my logo and I want to press Control D and make sure it's 2 seconds long so we have enough frames to work with. And then we're going to create a Fusion clip out of it. So we'll right click, say New Fusion Clip, and then we'll click on the Fusion icon and it'll open it up in Fusion. Now what I did was I went back to the clip where I originally created the superhero stroke effect and I selected the group box for the outer stroke effect that we started with and I pressed Control C to copy. And now I'm going to, with media in one selected, press Control V and outer stroke is added right there. Now we want to add all of our effects, so we make some room. And I'm going to click on Media in one, and I'm going to add 2 transforms. And I don't know why Resolve keeps putting the new nodes in wonky places, but we need them both over here. And we need 2 of them because the first transform is going to take an external input from the edit page for the logo position and size. The second one is going to use that now relative position because whatever the size is that's input becomes 1.0, then it will work on that relative. Otherwise, it's really hard, and I couldn't figure out a way to keyframe with expressions and all that stuff and get it to work. So this was a quick and dirty workaround, and I got it to work, so this is awesome. Anyway, let's press F2 and rename this Transform External, because that's where our external information is going to go, and then press F2 and say Transform underscore relative. DaVinci Resolve doesn't let you do spaces, so we use the underscore. For transform external, transform relative, we just need to have them sit there for now. We're going to do all the fixes in a minute. So we're just adding nodes right now. So shift space bar, we're going to need a lens blur. So we'll type in lens and then add lens blur. And then shift space bar, we need a brightness contrast. This will do our invisibility. So we'll click add, and again, it'll add it. And then we can really just clean up these nodes. The last one we need is Keyframe Stretcher. So I'll add that in. Again, I don't know why Resolve keeps doing that, but here's all of our nodes, and everything's well and good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these, right-click, say Group, and if you watched my previous video, you know how to do that. But we're going to press F2 and we're going to rename it Logo Pop, if I could type. There it is. We'll double click it to open it. All well and good. So now with our Logo Pop group selected, we right click, select Edit Controls. We need a logo size. So we'll type in logo size. And even with the space there, when I press Tab, it creates the ID logo size. And this is going to be a number. We'll keep it in the user page. Animatable's fine. Integer, we don't want it to be, but default is going to be 1. And our range is 0 to, let's say 2. Okay. And then our allowed is 0 to 2. That's good. And then for our input control, yeah, slider control is good. And then for our view control, we want the rectangle control. And new group width, that's fine. And we click OK. Now we have in our user tab, we have logo size, and it'll go from 0 to 2. And if you double click it, it goes back to the default of 1. Now we need to right click, say Edit Controls. We're going to add the logo position. Press Tab, it creates logo position. This is a point. The default is 0.5 and 0.5. And we can choose offset control, display scale. We can leave blank. Crosshair control is good. Animatable, click OK. So now we have our logo position. Now we can use the logo size and position. So in our external, we'll click and select it. Our center, we're going to right click and choose expression. And this already has 0.5, 0.5. We're going to change this to logo position dot X. And then after the comma is logo position dot Y. And then for our size, we can right click, expression, and we're going to just type in logo size. Press enter to get away from there, and we're good to go. Now, the transform relative is where all the magic is going to happen. So we're going to make sure we're on the first frame, and we're going to size down to 0. So double click, press 0, tab away, create a keyframe, click on the diamond. And we want it to be full size, but we actually want it to be a little bit bigger at frame 15. So we're going to type in 1.15. And remember, this is relative to the input size. Then at frame 17, just 2 frames later, double click, type 1, press tab. Notice we have keyframes here, here, and there. See, ba-boom. Now at the end of it, we want to go to about frame 46, create a keyframe, and then drag. We can just drag, right? I have my mouse button held down. We could drag all the way to the end, and it's frame 59, and we want to double click, press 0, so it fades out. So it pops in, fades out. Now the lens blur, we want it to start at 4, that's good, and then by frame 10, or 12 rather, we want it to be at 0. So double click, 0, tab, we've got our keyframes. Then towards the end, we want it to get blurry again. So we'll click to create a keyframe on frame 50, and then 59, we'll double click, type 4, press tab, boom, that part's done. Now the brightness contrast. This handles the visibility again. Remember, starting frame, we want the gain. But before we do the gain, we want to make sure alpha is selected. By default, it isn't. We need red, green, blue, and alpha selected, and we're going to drag our gain down to 0. And again, we're on the first frame. We created a keyframe, and then by frame 10, we want it to be 1. So we'll double click, type 1, voila, it's visible. So now our logo is going to fade in, sharpen in, and have the superhero stroke going all at the same time and size up. It's a lot of fun, right? At the end, we want to go back to frame 50, and we're going to take our gain. We're going to create another keyframe, drag over to 59, double click, 0, boom, done. Now we have something that's broken because our keyframe stretcher is broken. We didn't set it up right. So now on Keyframe Stretcher, we need our last frame to be 59, and our start is going to be frame 20, and our end is going to be what? Frame 40. So that gives us a window to work with, right? And even source end, if I go to change that to 60, now it's fully invisible, even better. So now we have our effect. Everything's going to grow and get clear and pop in, and then our keyframed, everything's keyframed. Now, let's go back to the edit page and let this render out. And we're going to watch it real quick. Let me blow up this window a little bit. Yeah, nice. Now, we still don't have our edit screen controls, so we can go back to Fusion, and we can click on Logo Pop. We can change our logo size to 0.75, and if I click in the middle, you can see where it's at. Control Z to undo, right? There we go, Control Shift Z to redo, and we're going to change our logo position and move it around, there. So now it's in that one corner, and you'll watch it. If we go from one frame to another, it comes in from the center. Well, we can fix that. We go into Transform Relative, and we can right-click on center, change expression, and do the same thing. So this took me a lot of trial and error, and I'm running without a net today. I have no script or anything. Normally I work with a set of bullet points, and not today. There we go. So now we can go back to Transform External and remove the expression. There, see? This is a lot of the trial and error that I went through to get this to work, but I wanted to show you that you can go back through and fix things as we go, or I made a simple mistake. You be the judge. Leave me a comment below. Boop the like button. Are you enjoying this video? Have you learned anything? Hopefully you have. Now, let's go ahead and I'll show you the final result. So now we're back at the edit page. You can see I dragged my logo into the timeline, and I'm gonna go over to my logo pop effect. If you wanna learn how to make it reusable, bingo, bango, bongo, Bob's your uncle. That's the video. I showed the whole workflow already, but we're adding to it. So let's drag and drop it. And now we're in the middle of the clip. You can see it looks okay. And here we have under effects, logo pop, logo position, logo size. So I can type in 0.75 here, tab away. And then I could drag this, but I'm just gonna click on it and drag it over and drag it up, let it render out, and we'll play the final effect. Ta-da! Everything's working the way it should. It all looks good. Look at that. And it's gonna pop right out when it's done. Voila! Now, let me show you just one thing real quick. I wanna be very clear about this because I said earlier there was some trial and error. Let me show you one of the trial and errors because node placement is critical on this. So back on this practice one here, if I click on the fusion icon and bring it in here, you'll see that I started with my transforms at the beginning. Then I had my outer stroke set up the way I wanted. And then over here, I had the blur, brightness, contrast, and the keyframe stretcher nodes. It doesn't work well because if we play this back, since it's rendered, the speed was real fast at the start for this rotation, and then it gets fast at the end, but it's slow in the middle because the keyframe stretcher works on everything in the node tree before it, but not after it. Did I get the angle right? It's kind of backwards for me because I'm filming. Oh, anyway, this one was a lot of fun. If you followed the original tutorial, you'll know how to add colors and all that stuff to the group box, and you can make all the controls visible from the edit page. I just wanted to scratch the surface and show how to do things before and after the keyframe stretcher node in this video. So if you found this video helpful, please click the like button, share it with another editor, maybe subscribe. I don't know, do all that YouTube stuff. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm happy to answer. And until next time, YouTube has curated this video from my catalog for you to watch. So I hope you're having a great day. I will see you in the next video. John out.